We are alive. Yes, we are alive. Thank God. Good morning, Kahal Kadosh. Thursday, the 26th of Elul, 26th of September, the live video feed for the Lighthouse program, לעילוי נשמת דבורה פייגה בת שמואל, אורה דבורה בת שמואל, לאה בת יוסף, אנסתר רבקה בת אברהם, and רפואה שלמה מנחם מנדל בן סרבשה, and חנה בת שני. The iTorah.com live audio recording לשידוך for נחמדינה בת חנבתיה, אליהו חיים בן אסתר, רחל פנינה בת ג'לי, אנסרה שמחה בת סופיה. The Edmond J. Safra Synagogue breakfast and class for the main minyan, graciously sponsored by Mr. Clemente Rahamim Beda and family, לעילוי נשמת his beloved wife, Doret Bat Sofi, עליה Shalom. That today is the day of the Askara. We acknowledge the presence of the Beda family, the sons, the daughters, son-in-laws, grandchildren, and maybe great-grandchildren, or they should be coming soon, but definitely a wonderful lady, Aliyah Shalom, that returned her holy soul to the Almighty a few years back, and beloved wife of our Kohen Zaken, Gadol, Mr. Clemente Rahamim Beda, that is here with us. May Hashem give you long life, happiness, and health, and may you remember your wife, and obviously the children, their mother, for many good years. Amen. Today, we're going to learn one more time about Rabbi Moshe Cordovero Tomer Deborah book. And Be'ezat Hashem, tomorrow, God willing, Friday, Be'ezat Hashem, and Sunday, we'll talk about Rosh Hashanah, some of the halachot, some of the traditions, but we have been on a long date with Rabbi Moshe Cordovero for almost a month, every day, learning from the beautiful lessons and suggested reading for the month of Elul, the topic of Tomer Devorah, how a person internalizes in their own life the godly behavior of mercy and compassion and all the Yod Gimel Midot HaRahamim. So we begin today with the 5th chapter, and it says as follows, that part of the life of a person is developing love to Hashem. This is actually an interesting topic. If we look in the Pelei Yoes, that he speaks about the topic of love, he divides love, I believe, in 8 different types of love. Obviously, love to your parents, love to your wife, love to your children, love to your in-laws, love, yes, you're supposed to love your in-laws, yes, love to your grandchildren, love to your friends, love to the Torah, love to Hashem. And each one, he explains, is a different type of love. The way you love your wife is not the way you love a child. The way you love a friend is not the way you love your parents. The way you love your parents is not the way you love your in-laws. But each one is a different type of love. But at the end of the day, they all share the same common ground. The concept of love, having feelings and affection and emotions towards that person. What about God? How do we develop love to Hashem? Which, by the way, is a positive commandment of the Torah. As the Pasuk says, "Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha, bechol levavecha, ubchol nafshecha, ubchol meodecha." Translation, every child knows this. Every adult, male or female, that has a bit of connection to godliness and to tradition, we know the first mitzvah of the Shema is to love Hashem. Bechol levavecha, with our heart, ubchol nafshecha, with our soul, ubchol meodecha. The Gemara explains, bechol middah u'middah shehu modeh lecha. The way that God made the person. Every person, we're not supposed to become somebody else. We're supposed to become ourselves. Somebody may have great voice. He can be a great chazan. That's how he serves God. Somebody could be a great scribe, and that's how he serves God in the concept of being a sofer. Somebody could be eloquent, and I'm not talking about myself, and the person can serve God in that particular level, and a person can have skills in their hands, and the person becomes a builder of Aaron Kodesh, a builder of Sefer Torah cases. It doesn't matter. The Pasuk writes, Kaved et Hashem, Kaved, no Kaved. Kaved is a difference. Kaved means to honor. Kaved means heavy. So Kaved et Hashem mehoncha. Honor God from your wealth. My wealth is not your wealth. And your wealth is not his wealth. And I'm not talking about the wealth of money. Money is irrelevant at this moment. We're talking about the wealth of what do we have that someone else doesn't have. So here, the first message that Rabbi Moshe Cordovero says, it says, part of showing love to Hashem is to perhaps to recognize what Hashem represents in our life. Okay, what God represents to us in our life. What does he represent? So the answer is not a single answer. It represents a lot of things. Somebody may say, God is everything for me. Chazaku Baruch. Be more specific. You go to an ice cream store. What flavor do you want? I don't know, give me one of each. No, which flavor do you want? So to someone, godliness represents Hashem giving us life. Beautiful. Godliness means Hashem giving us health. Godliness means Hashem giving us family. Godliness, Hashem is giving us eyesight, as we discussed the other day. Who is a wealthy person? How do we label today, according to Torah values, how do we assess wealth? He gives a nice answer. From a Torah perspective, is the person that is happy with the lot. Meaning to say, a person that is content with their share. That is a beautiful answer. But I'm going to go one step deeper. You know who is considered by Torah values a wealthy person? A person that has eyes, teeth, hands, and legs. ראשי תיבות עשיר. עיניים, שיניים, ידיים, רגליים. Because if a person has these four components, then it means that we are able to work. We are able to do. We don't have to rely on others. But if, God forbid, a person, God forbid, has no hands, or has no movement of the legs, God forbid, or a person has no eyesight, or a person has no teeth, how can they eat? How can they function? How can they survive? So it says, once the person comes to the realization that Hashem is everything in my life, en od milevado, there is nothing but godliness in the world, even family, even wife, even children, even grandchildren, and by the way, even headaches in life, they all have the same sender. Even though sometimes when it comes with headaches or challenging moments of life, our Yetzer Hara points the finger to someone. Blame the government, blame the economy, blame the president, blame Bitcoin, blame the Chinese, blame. Torah is not a blaming game. Torah is emunah in Hashem, and it says that once a person truly develops this affinity and gratitude to the Almighty, that is a key element. The concept of hakarat hatov, the concept that a person counts their blessings, the concept that a person says thank you to the Almighty. Guess what? The more gratitude we give, the more love we feel. How happy a wife or a mother feels when the husband or the children tell her what a delicious meal for the holiday you made, or what a beautiful Shabbat table you set up. You know, for us men, it's easy in part. We leave early morning, we come back at night, we go to shul, hopefully, we come to learn, we come to pray, we go to work, we mingle, we talk, and then we come home and we expect that everything is going to be set up, beautiful Shabbat table, beautiful holiday table. I ask you, what do you think? This was open sesame? That the wife said today, God, I like to have for the holiday mahshi, yebra, kibbe, lahmajin, and gefilte fish for the Ashkenazic audience. Okay, amen, he said. I don't think you will find that in a Syrian table. L'chaim, Rabbi, l'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam she'akol nihya b'dbaro. So how do you think that happened? That is not the manna. That is not the man that used to be delivered every day in the desert. It took effort. It took time. It took thinking. You know, husband and wife are married for 30 years. And every Thursday or Friday, the wife, or Wednesday, the wife asks the husband, what should I make for Shabbat? The same thing happened by you in your home? Same thing happened by me in my home.
It's always the same thing.
Always the same question. So I told my wife the following suggestion. I'm not sure if she accepted it or not. But I said to her, maybe this year coming up, write in a calendar, menu Shabbat Bereshit, menu Noah, menu Vaera, Lech Lecha, Haye Sarah. And a year from now, she has already, you know, I'll tell you, this is what we do in the synagogue. For example, let me show you this paper. Yeah, you like it, right? Beautiful. So, for example, these are the synagogue's notes for the holidays of last year. Baruch Hashem, all the positive and all the things that we feel we can do a bit better. And guess what? We do this after each holiday. After each holiday, we take notes of everything, including Rabbi's speech, including length of the prayers, including the maintenance crew, whatever that means. So this year when we come, okay, right away, we say, okay, point A, point C, I need to order more of these. I need to make sure we have enough guards. I need to be sure to have enough books, etc. And guess what? It makes it easier year after year. But obviously, we're not here to give you a Reader's Digest suggestion for meals, but I'm only bringing this up, the importance of gratitude. So if this is the gratitude that a husband feels for the spouse, or a wife feels for the husband, for going out of the home, going to work, sometimes traveling and not living comfortable setting, and yet the husband becomes a good provider and is a good man, is a good fellow, is an honest person, and if this is the love that it develops through life, so imagine yourself the love that we need to develop towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu for everything else that He gives us. And not only that, it says, "B'tihabato teku'a belibo," and this love to the Almighty will be engraved into the heart of the person. And guess what? When it comes to pray, when it comes to do mitzvot, when it comes to do good things that the Torah encourages the person to do, I'm not going to run away from them, he says. The opposite. Because that only strengthens our bonding between Hashem and the person. So instead of looking at it as a burden, I'm looking at it as a connector, which is the problem, or the challenge, I should say better, that many times people have. And guess what? The stronger the connection the person is with God, the easier it becomes to connect with God. It's not difficult to connect with Hashem, but we need to have the will and the understanding and the benefit. And it says here that, for example, he brings here a fascinating concept that I mentioned this on Shabbat afternoon. Some of you were here, or many of you rather were here, and this is the source what I learned many years back. The Gemara tells a story with a great man. His name was Nahum Ish Gamzu, one of the teachers of Rabbi Akiva. Why was he called Nahum Ish Gamzu? The Gemara tells in Masechet Ta'anit, Gamzu letova. This is for good. And Rabbi Moshe Cordovero explains What does it mean, gam zu letova? Why zu? Usually in Hebrew, people say gam ze, or gam zot, or gam elu. Zu in Hebrew, to my knowledge, is not a common word that people use. The closest to zoo means the zoo, where the animals are. Okay, Z-O-O, right? But in Hebrew, you say ze, zot, elu, hem. But why zo? So the Rabbi Moshe Cordovero seems to imply that if we think for a minute, what is the letters of the word zu? Zayin and Vav. And if we put together Zayin and Vav in the world of numbers, it gives us the number 13. The 13 attributes of mercy. That's what Rabbi Moshe Cordovero is saying. Meaning to say that even if a person is going through challenges, or a person is going through hiccups in life, learn from the great Nahum Ish Gamzu. It must be a reason. And that's what it says. Enoela letova. Even if it seems to be a tough call from the Almighty, this is for a good reason, for a good purpose. This reminds me the story of 30 years ago, 25 years ago maybe, that someone wanted to donate a kidney to a relative of his, okay? And they made all the testing, and he was a suitable match. Today, thank God, we have a beautiful organization known as Renewal that specializes in matching the donors with the recipients, and they have done, Benporat Yosef, over 600 kidney transplants in America, but not only in America. Now they're helping in South America, they're helping in Israel, in Europe. So Baruch Hashem, they're helping. And mamash, beautiful, beautiful, saving lives of people. So there was a fellow, before this became a common word in our vocabulary, this was something very unheard of and very costly in the procedure, in the treatment and the recovery, etc. Today things are much expedited and much better. So this fellow, goes to the hospital, prepares himself for the transplant. He wishes well to his cousin, and then he goes into surgery. He goes into surgery. In the recovery room, the doctor comes to visit him to see how he's doing. So the doctor asked him, how do you feel? I'm a bit sore. The doctor said, when you're able to get up, go say thank you to your cousin. Go say thank you to your cousin. The donor says, doctor, I'm the donor, he's the recipient. He should come to me. He says, I want you to know that we could not use your kidney. Why not? If all the blood work came out good, yes. But when we started to remove the kidney, we saw a hidden growth that was not captured by the MRI or by the scan that they did. And therefore, your kidney was infected by a condition that we needed to treat on the spot to save your life. So when you finish your recovery, go to your cousin that thanks to his condition, he saved your life. You understand? We thought that he was saving the life. Actually, God created all these scenarios to bring the person to this situation. Again, sitting from my chair, I believe it and I live this way. I try. I'm not a tzaddik, by the way. I have to do teshuvah. Okay, maybe I'm not a tzaddik as you are, but definitely I have to do a lot of teshuvah still. But thank God, one of the things that is injected in my heart to try to apply what the Rabbi Moshe Cordovero says, that in the face of adversity, you have a few options. Either you drown in a cup of water, or you jump over the opportunity. And that's what he says. It says, if you're going to take a step back in the name of adversity, what kind of life will the person live? Yesterday we learned in the Spanish class the dangers of negativity. I spoke about this in English last week. the dangers of negativity. Being negative is dangerous. It's poisonous. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. Besides that, it weakens the faith of the person, but it also creates a toxic environment around the person. And I hope that I'm just talking and nobody's affected by this. But again, we see negativity, cross the street. You see a challenge, lift up your eyes to the Almighty. Righteous people, King David says in the book of Psalm, they also have a couple of hiccups. And the Pasuk says in Shemuel, Ki nafalti kamti. Even if I fall, I get up. Ki yesheb b'choshech, Hashem orli. Even I'm in darkness, have a great day. God is my light. God is my constant flashlight. So let me go quickly with the beautiful footnote of Rabbi Moshe Cordovero. It says, Bechol midah umidah. And it says a person needs to understand that there is an essence of kindness that always follows the person. But the catch that a person needs to utilize is the word letova. Letova, he explains, always try to find this positive in matters. For example, let's say something breaks at home. What is the Sephardic tradition when something breaks at home? Okay, in Yiddish, I'm not sure if they say kapara, probably they say zolzaina kapure. Okay, zolzaina kapure. That's for our Ashkenazic audience, right, Professor? Beautiful. It's the same thing. Believe me, Sephardic and Ashkenazic are exactly caught by the same knife. We just have different of traditions and taste of food because of geographics and because of situations of life. No more than that. But at the end of the day, we have the same thing. Kenainore, ben porat Yosef, Solzaina kapure, kapara, oivei, uli, gefilte fish, Moroccan fish. It's I know you can't, dafina cholen. Okay? You understand? We all the same. But why do we say right away kapara? Why do we say kapara? Why kapara? Hazit, what did the glass do? Kapara. So we understand when something happens out of the norm, must be a godly reason that we don't understand, and we accept the scary moment or the loss that breaking a glass or the cleanup that the broken glass requires. Let it be an atonement for my shortcomings. And this is something, I'm going to say something that the men will not like and the ladies will love. I'm trying to think if I should say it publicly, or maybe we should pause the video and the recording. Should I? Go. Thank you. I wasn't asking. I was just creating the excitement. Right. No, así tú así, s'il vous plaît. Ah, you're spilkes. Okay, I understand that. But you're married, so you should be more Baruch Hashem, right? Baruch Hashem. You marry a wonderful lady, so you hit the jackpot. Baruch Hashem, okay, you know what? Good things in life take a long time. Sometimes a person needs to go to a couple of rounds until finds the proper shidduch, the proper wife. True story, by the way. So, today is not the topic of Shalom Bait, but one of the things that we came across, actually it comes from Tomer Devorah, the early chapters, and it says, there is no greater gift to a person when, like, someone screams at the person. There is no greater gift to a person like if someone screams at a person. For example, the wife that screams at the husband. Ladies, don't take advantage. I hope that it's usually the wife screams at the husband and the husband doesn't scream at the wife. Because if the husband screams at the wife, that is definitely out of line. Not that the wife is allowed to scream at the husband. But even the husband doesn't do anything, There's always something, right? Right? That's what somebody told me the other day. I'm not talking about my marriage. I hope my wife is not watching or listening. But that's the bottom line. Why, he says. Why could it be good? Somebody comes and tells you something that you're not happy with. Why should it be a good gift? It says very simple. It only works if we don't respond. If we exercise self-control, that few moments of unpleasant time, that atones and cleanses the sins of the person. It's heavy what I just said, and I don't want, God forbid, that no one from the audience, virtual, physical, video, or audio, to say, the rabbi told me to do kapara to you, so I'm going to scream at you 3 times a day. No. Screaming in a marriage, we already know that it's not helpful. It doesn't build a relationship. God forbid, I was called out to come to a school to help a situation with a child. And talking with the professor, the principal, the children, and the psychologists and the parents, we came to the conclusion that this matching game, the screaming match between husband and wife at home in front of the children, it's what's hindering their performance in school. That's simple. And I think that we all agree to this. We understand that sometimes between husband and wife could be disagreements, which we understand. As we said the other day to somebody, we agree to disagree. But even in a disagreement, the person needs to know how to express their point. Sometimes a person that doesn't agree with you or doesn't agree to what you and I may be saying takes an extreme reaction. The extreme reaction could be getting out of the table and leaving. The extreme reaction could be, you don't know what you're talking about. God forbid. All these impulsive attitudes, they are detrimental to the person's life. Like it or not, bottom line. And this is Tomer Devorah's message throughout the past 26 days. Perhaps we skip a day or two, etc. But I think that over 20 days, or at least 20 lessons, we had continuously since Rosh Chodesh Elul, how self-control, proper treatment of people, respect to everyone, including animals, including creations, including the grass, including flowers, including garments, being positive, being tolerant, being patient, being calm, learning how to control our anger and our reactions and not being impulsive. All this is part of how God acts towards us. Can you imagine for a moment if God will be impulsive? God forbid. If God will have no tolerance, God forbid. If God will have no patience, God forbid. If God gives us compensation or consequence based on our deeds without giving us an allowance, every one of us, are given allowances by Hashem. Allowances means how long can we continue in the same way? If the same way is the good way, beautiful way, happy way, positive way, beautiful, don't change. But if God forbid, the behavior of a person is antagonistic to what God expects from a person to be, sooner or later, God is going to send an invoice to the person. And an invoice doesn't mean a subpoena. First is an invoice. Then is a registered letter. And then is an attorney's letter. And then a subpoena. This is how God functions to our benefit. And I use these commercial examples to understand that God doesn't go to the person's heart right away. God gives a chance to the person. How much of a chance? I cannot answer you. No one can answer us. And occasionally, we get wake-up calls. Occasionally, we get messages. Text message, WhatsApp, email, certified letter, registered letter. and so forth. This refers to the magnitude of the challenges that a person experiences in the life. And at the end of the day, we'll finish the magnificent Tomer Devorah, and we'll put them on hold for a bit. I will love, with your permission, throughout the year maybe, resume the class, because we still are pending 10 chapters. We did 20 with today, I believe, and we still have 10 more to go. So I think that I would like to do it, but I believe that all the holidays coming on top of us, it will be difficult to make a commitment. But Be'ezat Hashem will do something throughout the year, hopefully as soon as Sukkot is over. But I'd like to finish that with a powerful statement from Rabbi Moshe Cordovero. And it says as follows: Ezeu Hasid. Hasid. When I say the word Hasid, what does that mean in your brain? You can say Hasid of Breslev, Hasid of Lubavitch, Hasid of Pupe, Hasidic groups. All these are Hasidic groups. Just for the record, that's not what it means. The word Hasid in English means pious. No, pious. He said righteous. Righteous, I believe, may be Saddiq. Hasid is above Saddiq. What's the difference between Hasid and Saddiq? Saddiq does everything proper, everything right. Hasid goes the extra mile. Hasid goes the extra mile, which is the way of Hasidic movement. The Hasidic movement, in theory and in the holy books, always adds more things to do than the basic requirement for the halacha. You understand? You don't have to be dressed as a Hasid to be a Hasid. Just be a good person. And he finishes saying here, Ezu Hasid, Hamid Hased, Aim Kono. It says, who is the pious man? A person who does kindness to the Almighty. So the question you may ask is, what do you mean that I do kindness to the Almighty? The Almighty doesn't need my kindness. So the truth is that the Almighty needs our kindness. Not a need the way humans have needs, but when we are kind towards our fellow men, to a certain way, we are expanding the life of the world in a normal and sane way. We are not living in a normal world. I believe that we all agree that today our world is very confused, very challenging, very difficult, maybe very technologically advanced, but there are so many hiccups going around the world at all levels. If it's climate change, if it's impeachment topic, if it's Ukraine and the war, it's not my purpose of talking about politics. Or if it's Israel, look at Israel. For the past 7 months, we have no prime minister. And it's keep running. Now he needs to make a government. He doesn't do it in a certain time. We bounce the ball to the other fellow. You know, wonderful people, but at the end of the day, what's going on? So I'll tell you what's going on. We are before Rosh Hashanah. And before Rosh Hashanah, there is, you know, the pending balances of the accounts in Shamayim. Someone asked me yesterday, Rabbi, for the past 2 weeks, I'm not making any deals. I said, okay. What do you mean, okay? I want to make. Give me segulot. I told him what to do. But I told him that perhaps Hashem already gave him the blessing for the year. And you have a few days till Rosh Hashanah. And God willing, Sunday night Rosh Hashanah comes. Hashem opens the shower of blessings again. This is something that we need to understand. Because the Gemara says that the blessing of the person, mi Rosh Hashanah ad Rosh Hashanah. So whatever pending money a person may be coming their way for this year, in the next 72 hours or 96 hours needs to happen. And if it doesn't happen, that's it. Be thankful for a beautiful year and get ready for the new year. But it says, how do I show my piety to the Almighty? You know what it says? When a person reciprocates kindness to others, to other people. And that kindness, and the Gemara, I'll finish with this. The Gemara in Gemara, let me just fold the page so I know where I left. The Gemara in Sukkah asks an interesting question. And we can ask the audience this question quickly. Feel free to answer, including live video. What's greater? Kindness or charity? I give you 10 seconds. A commercial and we'll be back. He was singing the Jeopardy song now. Okay? Okay, so the question was asked, what is greater? Kindness or charity? The Gemara in Sukkah tells us that kindness is greater than charity. Why? Although charity is great. Charity, the Talmud says, quoting King Solomon, saves the persons from death. Charity expedites Mashiach's arrival. Charity becomes a guardian shield to the person's life during the moment of challenges. So we all agree that the benefits of charity are great, and that's for sure. And charity is not negotiable. Every person must give charity daily. It's not optional. It's a strongly suggested action. And when I give charity, I don't mean that you have to empty your bank account. Just train yourself. Give a few coins into the kuppah every day. There are people that give charity every hour of the day. They give a quarter. But there is a spiritual benefit every time a person gives charity. There is such a thing. It's not about the quantity, it's about the action. But charity, it's usually done with money. Charity is done to a needy person, and charity is done to a person that is alive. That is what the Talmud says. Kindness, different ball game altogether. You can do kindness with money. You can do kindness with actions. You can do kindness spiritually. And you can do kindness emotionally. By being a good listener or by speaking, giving a good advice. That's number one. Number two, the kindness can be done to a person that is alive or a person that is dead. God forbid. A person that is alive, let's say you give somebody a ride. You give someone a loan. You bring a package to somebody's home. Or, God forbid, someone that is no longer among the living. We mentioned before, breakfast and class graciously sponsored by Mr. Clemente Beidan family, Le'ilun Nishmat, Doret Bat Sofi. So what did we do now? We did an act of kindness to the soul of Doret Bat Sofi. By the words of Torah that we say, by the berachot that we say, in a few moments we're going to say Kaddish. And we're going to make Ashkava again. So guess what? I'm doing an act of kindness to someone that is not even around to tell me thank you. You understand? That's what the Gemara says. Kindness to the living, kindness to the dead. kindness to the person that is needy or a person that is wealthy. Maybe the person is wealthy, he doesn't need money, but he needs a ride to the airport. So now you did Hesed with your body. So therefore, the Rabbi Moshe Cordovero concluding statement says, you want to become close to God, become close to people. The closer we become as friends among people, and as the Pasuk says, charity begins at home. Become a good friend to your wife. Don't only be married to your wife. You can be married, share the same home. Hopefully you use the same bedroom. I know some who use separate bedrooms, and not because nida, God forbid. It's because that's a lifestyle that they live, which is definitely, it tells you that something is going on regretfully, but that's what our rabbis tell us. Charity begins at home, means husband and wife relationship, and then your children, and then your parents, and then your in-laws, and then your other relatives, and then your friends. And I'm not wrong in the way I just said these words. This is the line of priority. It's actually from the Torah. The Pasuk says, Bedabak beishto, behayu lebasar ehad. You know, many times the Pasuk means a husband will cling to his wife and become a single entity. That's it. When a person gets married, husband and wife become priority for each other. The challenge that sometimes we have is that many people do a lot of hesed, they do a lot of kindness to everyone else, but they neglect their own family. And from a Torah perspective, that is not the proper way. We're not saying not to do kindness to people, but a person needs to understand what are the priorities in life. For those that were here Sunday night, we had Rabbi Yedid, who gave a lecture on this topic. Priorities in life, Beli Neder. The lecture will be sent to the Kahal a bit later on today. At this moment, we say good day to everybody. We're going to finish now by saying Kaddish and Ashkava, and Be'ezat Hashem, we'll launch Rosh Hashanah tomorrow morning. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen ve'amen. Rabbi Hananiah ben Akashia Omer, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל לפיכך הרבה להם תורה מצוות שנאמר אדוני חפש למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר קדיש אמן 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 יהיה שמי רבה מברך Amen. אמן. אשת חיל ממסע ורחום מפנים מקרא שכרחם בבל היופי אישה יראת אדוני היא תתלל תלם מפרי ידיה ולא של מעשיה מרחם על כל בריותיו ויחוז רחם על נפש והונשמה של אישה כשרה מן העולם דורת בת סופי